Many thanks again for staying with us on the show TMI Thursday. We've got Associate Professor Stella Omonigo, who is the head of the Department of Foreign Languages, University of Benin, with us, a regular on our show to look at some topical issues. Well, some have said the subsidy has been removed. No, it hasn't been removed. It's only been suspended for 18 months, and now we have been told that within that period, it will cost the country 3 trillion naira. That's already, I mean, it's gotten some people kicking. The Governors Forum, organized labor, even though the organized labor, they've rescinded their decision to go on a full-blown protest. But let's quickly look at this issue of subsidy removal. From the numbers, the statistics available, whether we remove it today, we'll continue to postpone the evil day, as it were.
Exactly.
So what do you make of that as a big challenge for the government of the day?
Thank you so much. First of all, good morning, viewers at home, and a happy new year once again. Concerning this subsidy removal, I want to tell you that this is not the first time. It's not new. We've been hearing about subsidy removal since 1980, in the 80s. And you know, they keep on, I see it as being politicized. As far as I'm concerned, I try to weigh it here and there. The initial reason why we had the subsidy was to make all products, petroleum products, very, very, cheap for Nigerians because we are a petroleum producing country, okay? But over the years, we have now seen that it's like some individuals have now taken it upon themselves to enrich themselves with this fuel subsidy.
Okay.
Yes, I agree completely with you that it may not be telling well on the nation's, GIP, GDP. It may not be telling well on our economy, but we need to weigh the two sides. Now, previously, they told us, the Minister of Finance said that they had set aside 44 billion from the 2022 budget for fuel subsidy between January and June. So if it was 44 billion that was set aside for it, how can you now explain, the rise from 44 billion to 3 trillion
for 18 months.
For 18 months. By the time I did the calculation, it was not close to that 3 trillion at all. So what changed? What happened? I feel that, and then why the suspension again? There are two ways we need to look about it. While the NLC is planning to go on strike if the fuel subsidy is removed, we should also think about the reason behind the suspension. Because I also tried to calculate why 18 months. That means that by the end of the 18 months, it will be July 2023. This government will have gone, postponing the evil day and then leaving it for the incoming government. Because whether we like it or not, Nigeria needs to face reality about this fuel subsidy. Whether we remove it or we don't remove it, the money goes to a particular set of people, the cabals, and Nigerians will keep suffering. I feel that what we should be talking about is way forward. What should be done? Let me tell you, our refineries are not working. When this government came on board, one of the major things they used, in attracting Nigerians to vote for them was that they were going to repair all refineries, and within 6 months, all refineries were going to be working. But, the few that were left, that were still hanging there before they came, all, is now gone. And what we now have is Dangote refinery, Dangote now coming up with a refinery, and then our people going outside the country to Niger to build refineries. You see, it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. And that's why when I calculated from 44 billion to 3 trillion, I think something is wrong. I think what the National Assembly should do, because instead of approving the suspension of fuel subsidy, is to first of all set up a committee, an investigative committee to investigate NNPC and NNPC leaders. And I still said it, this NNPC over the years, for some time now, it has just been a particular tribe, a particular set of people who have been occupying the chieftains, who are the chieftains of NNPC. And so the secret is not like a secret cult. Nobody can get information, the real information and the real picture, the true picture about this fuel subsidy. Okay, if the government is saying that there is no skeleton in the cupboard concerning this fuel subsidy removal, let them bring an another tribe, a neutral person, another person entirely, somebody that will be nominated either by the Senate or, you know, by the Federal Executive Council, but not for an individual picking out somebody from his tribe or something to be an NPC chief. So we need to look at all those things, because I tell you, I smell a rat. If only Nigerians can just summon up courage and their government to say, yes, remove this first subsidy, you will see that some people will start crying foul. You will see that we'll start getting the truth. And you know, Mr. Duke, let me also say this. At the beginning of the year, even before the beginning of the year, towards the end of last year, the Minister of Finance came up to tell us that when they removed this first subsidy, they were going to be giving 5,000 naira to each consumer. You know, so what changed? Why the sudden? And then that time the president was very, very okay with it. Yeah. All of a sudden, you know, he just calculated it, and they came up to say 18 months after his exit. It doesn't add up.
So, I mean, I heard. I think it's the NBA that said the suspension is politicized, is political. Do you subscribe to this?
I do.
Why?
I do. And when I say, you know, when you suspend fuel subsidy, there are two things that will happen. First of all, Nigerians will agitate because the fuel prices will go up. In fact, at his time, Timi Priye told us that pump price was not going to be between 324 to 340 naira. Per liter. Yes, per liter. And people were already kicking against it. You know, I saw it that if they removed it, now that they are all campaigning for elections, they will become the governing, the ruling party will become unpopular. So as to win elections, they decided to suspend it for that 18 months, so that people will say that they are very magnanimous and they are thinking of Nigerians. But Nigerians wake up. Either way, whether they remove it or they don't remove it, somebody is benefiting from the removal. How come all of a sudden, like I said, ask questions. How come all of a sudden, if they didn't remove it, it now jumped from 120 billion that they used to spend annually to 3 trillion, and we are not asking questions. We are saying that it was good that they should not remove it. Once we remove it, you know, it will go up for a while. That's what it's just like telephone. Yeah. You know, when they removed that time when they suspended what's it called, Nitel. Yeah. You know, and budgets. At first, it was very expensive. Bills were expensive, but after some time, it normalized. When we talk about this deregulation, we just need to. But we've done the same thing with power, and we don't see power. You know, yes. The problem we had with power, yes, and that's it. The problem we had with power is that it was also sold to themselves, to these cabals. Look, let me tell you, throw it open. Let you and I have access to some of these companies. Yeah, we'll do better. They will do better. Yes. There will be more competition, and everything, and we'll do better. But the problem is when they want to sell, they will put it at a price that you and I will not be able to afford. We will not even have opportunity. We will not even know. It is just with ear that we hear later that, you know, this thing was, bidded for. How it was done, when it was done, where it was done. Let me tell you, my brother, things that are happening in this country. Do you know that contracts that are supposed to be given, you know, contracts that are awarded for places in Edo State, the contracts are awarded from Abuja. And then the contract would now be sublet to another contractor and another contractor, and before they get to Benin, it will be the fourth contractor. That is what is happening. Yeah. And you see, these are the things that we need to speak out. Chief executives should no longer keep quiet, because at the end of the day, they will tell you that they have spent 20 billion on a project that eventually cost about 200 million. Yeah. Why? Because it went from one hand to another hand to another hand. The same thing with this fuel subsidy something. Okay. You know, when we talk about deregulation, if we all cry now that they should deregulate the petroleum industry, they will say, okay, they will deregulate it. Let me pause you for a moment. Yes. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back to conclude this conversation on fuel subsidy removal and the 3 trillion cost implication. I mean, that's a raging matter. Please stay with us. We'll be back with you in a moment. Okay, we're back to the TMI studio. Thanks again for staying with us. Professor Stella Omanigo is still here with us on the subsidy removal and the cost implication of 3 trillion
naira. Let's just quickly look at some of the numbers. About 443 billion naira monthly for subsidy payment. And then the administration hopes to push its public debt stock to 50.22 trillion naira in 2023, with a domestic debt at 28.75 trillion naira, external debt at 21.47 trillion naira, according to the projections from the National Development Plan 2021 to 2025. Debt Management Office DMO had disclosed that Nigeria's public debt was 38 trillion naira as at the end of third quarter of 2021. Now, we are also on the verge of borrowing more to fund the 2022 budget. You want to say something about this as we call it a wrap?
You know, that's why I tell you that Nigerians should face reality. It is better for us to suffer now and get to the, the root of what is actually going on. Because all this money they've been saying they are borrowing, the question is, have they not been exporting our oil? Have we not been producing enough oil? As the price change, the price of oil drop in the global market. So those are the things. You know, the problem we're having, they are not accountable to us. They are not accountable to Nigerians. No accountability. These monies that are being borrowed on a daily, on a monthly basis, what do they do with the money? Because the masses are not feeling it. They are not feeling the impact of this money being injected in the economy. If actually, and if sincerely, the money they've been borrowing, is being injected in the economy, I don't think it should be like that. As a matter of fact, as at November 2021, the president of NBA told us that an average Nigeria is owing China 15,000 naira. You can imagine the population of Nigeria.
200 million times 15,000.
Exactly. And then that was for 2021. After that, we're thinking of borrowing money again. I think that it has come to the point where if we say we are suffering and we don't want to borrow any longer, let it be, but let it be justified. And I want to direct this part to the NLC. NLC, Nigerian Labour Congress, stop being reactive. Rather, be proactive. And one of the proactivity is for you to ask questions. Why is this subsidy removal, why is it centered around Dangote's new refinery? Why not Port Harcourt refinery? Why not Warri refinery? Why not Kaduna refinery? Why Dangote refinery? Why is it that the money, the budget for the subsidy just jacked up from 120 billion to 3 trillion? NLC should ask questions. You should not be celebrating that, yes, our president listened to us and suspended it.
Yes.
That is camouflage. Let me quickly round up, with this scenario. I see it as a thug coming to meet you to say, I will slap you now. I will slap you. Then you start begging, please don't slap me. Any little thing, say I will slap you. Okay, if you don't want me to slap you, give me your phone. But the day you will tell the dog that, okay, slap me and see what will happen, that is the day that dog will stop terrorizing you. NLC, I challenge you, if your hands are clean, you should also tell the government, remove this subsidy and give us account of how this subsidy went to 3 trillion. Yeah. As a matter of fact, 2 days ago, International Monetary Fund told Nigeria that Nigeria should better remove the subsidy as quick as possible, that if Nigeria is able to put 2.4 trillion naira into the economy and put it into other sectors like education, like health, like security, then Nigeria will be transformed. Now you can imagine money that is enough to transform the whole nation. A particular set of people called cabals are the ones now, just hijacking it, and we are clapping that they have not removed. They did not remove subsidy. Look, everything is a scam. Okay. It's just a distraction, and Nigeria should tell them, remove the subsidy, we will suffer for a while, but let us stop borrowing and let us be accountable to ourselves. All right,
Associate Professor Stella Monigo, thank you so much for availing us your time.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, it's still TMI Thursday. We'll take another break, and the rest crew members will be here to call it a wrap in a moment. Corpus Classic comes up 14th of February. Preparations are in top gear. Partnering with Efidosa, Central Hotel Efidosa Signature. We had it there last year, and it was awesome. This year certainly will be greater. Tickets are already available between 10,000 and 70,000 naira. I mean, you listen to the packages involved in all of these, you know that it is worth it. Stay with us. We'll take a short break. We'll be back with you.